What's happening? Where you all?
I'm looking at the other screen that shows the preview of our show, and it made me laugh because it was like an eBay sponsored ad, which you don't see very many of those even on YouTube. So I thought that was interesting. Anyway,
No.
anyway,
I'm actually gonna open this thing. I forgot to open the. You like to keep me in the dark over here.
well, here's the thing.
Well,
Every
let me
time
have
you
the
open
light.
that, it's fine for right now, but when I come and sit at my office at my desk in my office in the mornings between 7 and 7:30 in the morning when I start work, it is so blinding direct sunlight that I can't even see my computer. So
But
it's
they
a pain.
want to be able to see me, okay?
Yeah, just you.
Well, you have light on your side. Yours is open. I was in the darkness. Why do you want to keep me in the darkness?
Well, I like to keep you in your place.
Oh, so rude. So rude.
Happy Sunday, everyone. Yeah, it's rainy Sunday here. It's been, oh, thanks. It's my old hat hair day. It's rainy, it's gray, it's cloudy. It's not a fun Sunday here in Vegas. We've had a lot of rain this week.
Yeah, we
much
have.
more than usual. Same thing last January, actually. So, whatever.
It's February.
Yeah, that's true. It is already February. I mean, listen, January felt like it lasted 72 years. So the fact that I thought it was creeping into this month is not,
Yep.
unimaginable.
Well, we did film a haul video today, so that'll be coming
did.
out.
We
Well,
did.
You're acting like you're surprised. So that you're like, so that'll be coming out later this week. I think we both had some pretty cool stuff to share, and we've been doing, our sourcing's kind of been all off because we've both done some big buys, and it's just been a little bit random and kind of finding a time that works for both of us in between processing our different things and all that and photographing and everything. Sometimes it's hard to nail down a time. But we got that done, so that'll come out sometime this week. Next weekend's Super Bowl Sunday. I don't know. Are we doing a show on Super Bowl Sunday?
I mean, I feel like not everyone, we're not doing anything. Are we? I mean, I don't even care about the game.
All right. So us and the 5 other people who aren't watching the game will have a show.
Yeah, but people will watch it after if they're not here live. And honestly, we've done one every Super Bowl Sunday. I don't think we've ever not done one on a Super Bowl Sunday.
I don't know. Hey, look, it's
Last
Bill.
several
What's
years.
up, Bill?
Hey, Bill. How's Rhode Island treating you?
Probably rainy too.
It's probably gross in Rhode Island right now too. Yeah. So we were in Rhode Island. Well, I was in Rhode Island last February because it was the 20-year anniversary of the Station nightclub fire, and I wanted to be around my friends and my people there. And I ended up getting COVID like the day that I got there or the day before I got there, and having to turn around and fly home double masked and missed everything and didn't see anyone.
Yep.
So that was a miserable February. This year I will not be going home. It was a big anniversary, and that was the reason why I went home in February. But I don't think we're heading back to Rhode Island until
I don't know.
May. Usually May.
Yep.
May's the time of the year that we go.
Hey, Jody. We actually get to see Jody today. I'm very excited.
We do.
We get to see Jody and our friend Shelly.
Our
and
friend
Elizabeth.
Shelly. Yep, our friend Shelly is here.
Well,
Oh, let me
she's
see.
probably currently flying.
She just texted and said, "I just landed. Get me off this plane."
Her plane. Apparently, they were doing something here in Vegas that was causing the planes.
Biden
there
is
was
here
some,
visiting.
yeah, so that was causing delays in all the flights and everything. So, but we're excited because after the show, we're gonna skedaddle on out of here and go hang out with some friends.
We're going to hang out with Shelly and Elizabeth and Jody, and I think we're going to do some bingo later tonight. Katie probably won't.
I'll probably observe
She
you.
hates the bingo. So she'll either observe or she'll sit on a Keno slot machine playing 20 cents at a time for an hour while we play bingo.
I'll probably just hang out with you guys. And
I'm shocked.
well, Joey's gonna be there. She's
And
my
we might
friend.
get some happy hour Pizza Rock, I think.
Ooh, oh, that's right. Shelly very much loves the happy hour at the old Pizza Rock. Anyway, so that's going to be really fun. Last night, Ripley made a new friend. Our friend Corey brought over her new little rescue dog, and who was very timid and did not want to play.
She would not let either one of us pet her. She was so scared.
She
Poor
took
thing.
treats from me though. But I was worried because other than Ripley's little puppy friends, Deb and Mel's, she only knows our dogs. And the one other time we brought in another dog into the house, she lost her ever-loving mind and was like we had to like separate them. And we kind of figured out it was a combination of like she didn't know the people that brought the other dog. It was friends of ours that she hadn't met before. And then there was a new dog at the same time, whereas this time it's like she trusts Corey and she loves Corey because Corey comes and takes care of them when we're gone. But she was totally cool. She didn't have her hackles up.
She was fine. She kept trying. I mean, they followed each other around for about 4 hours on the ground, sniffing each other's butts. But Ripley really wanted to play with this other dog who's like 4 to 5 years old. And she's not much bigger than Ripley. She's a Chihuahua mix. She kept trying to play with her.
Yeah.
And then wouldn't, the puppy was just too scared.
See, Lorna's in the chat. Hi, Lorna.
Lorna. We get to go visit Lorna at the end of this month. It's very exciting. We haven't seen her in a few years.
Hopefully it's not too snowy.
I would say it's been almost 3 years since she's been out here to visit.
It's been a long time.
Too long. She usually comes out to visit us. Because, hey, okay, it's Vegas. She likes Vegas, and she likes to play a couple slot machines and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But she hadn't been out here in a while to visit, and we're going to go visit her in Sequim, Washington.
Yeah, but I messaged our friend Angel and told him it's time to bring Sancho over to play because Ripley clearly wants a puppy buddy who will actually play with her. Mm-hmm. And so I think we're going to arrange a play date soon. Anyway, all right, so... let's go.
Very exciting day today. Like Liz is making fun that we're going to go play bingo because we're old people.
All right, so this is our regular Sunday show. We break it up into 3 parts. The first part, we talk about our real numbers for the last week, our gross numbers from across all of our different platforms. We break down most of the costs that go into that, fees, shipping, cost of goods, most importantly. And then we look at our sales highlights for the last week, any good sales we had, interesting sales, educational sales. And then the last part, we talk about kind of what we accomplished the last week and what our goals are for the next week. The topic this time around, I have pushing out of our comfort zones. Boo!
I don't even know what that means. See, I never know. She makes up the titles of this show, and I'm always like, what? What does that one mean?
Do you understand what it means to push yourself out of your comfort zone?
I do, but I don't understand what it means in relation to anything we've done this week.
Well, then you just don't know nothing, do you? We'll talk about that more later, but
I guess I'll be informed as well.
The only way you can ever grow is if you do push yourself out of your comfort zone. So that is a fact when it comes to life or business. Doing the same old is never going to really work, other than maybe keep you stagnant, but that doesn't even work as we've found in the reselling world, because even if it keeps on working, at some point it doesn't work anymore. Mm-hmm. So, which is kind of where we're at right now. So you got to go through those growing pains and doing stuff that you don't really want to do or you feel uncomfortable with or is different from your usual. But we'll get more into that in the last part of the show. And Liz, you're disgusting. Oatmeal raisin old lady cookies, disgusting. Yuck.
I love my old lady cookies.
No.
Liz and I are on the same page. We're both old ladies.
You're both old. We get
it. We are. It's okay. I'll embrace it.
Anyway, let's go ahead and look at our numbers. Now, as far as mine go, they're actually they held pretty steady from last week, so I'm actually feeling pretty good. Like you can see my total outgoing orders was 47. So I've kept that, I had that really big jump up to 60 orders when I had my 50% off sale. But the last couple weeks, I've still kept it higher than what it used to be. So I'm feeling good about kind of keeping those numbers up. I think I'm up just a tiny bit in sales, literally within $40 or $50 of last week, if not closer than that. But my average sale price did go down a little bit because I really didn't have any big sales this week. I didn't have any sales that went into $100 or more. So I had lots of smaller sales. You can see 26 eBay orders, 6 Etsy. I had 8 Posh Mark orders. And Grailed and Macari and Depop are all popping off for me. Nothing crazy, but they're still, every week, the last few weeks, I've been getting orders on all 3 of those platforms, which those are my bottom platforms. Depop, I had 3 sales this last week on Depop alone, and all of them were boosted listings, which means I have to pay an extra 8%. But honestly, if I got 20 orders a week and they were all boosted, I'd be okay with that because I'm selling that stuff. So I don't care how I sell it. Just take my stuff. Give me your money. So 47 total outgoing orders.
F you pay me is what I call that.
What? F you pay me. F you pay me. eBay, $1,233.39. Listen, there were so many weeks last year when I could not even hit 1,000. So I'm going to consider this a win that I'm at least keeping it above the 1,000 mark. Etsy, $301.39. It's like Etsy's just kind of been puttering along. I really wish I was doing, I mean, I'm hitting better numbers on Posh Mark now. 361 on Posh Mark, and then Grail, Mercari, and Depop combined, 283.19. So my total gross sales, $2,178.
I think you might have beat me.
97 cents, maybe. So I'm happy to be over 2,000. I'm really looking forward to one day, someday, hopefully in the not so far away future, actually hitting 3,000 in 1 week. It's been a really long time for me. It used to happen. It used to happen occasionally, but it's been a real long time. $155.62 for shipping. You can see the breakdown of fees there. Cost of goods, $125. My total net sales, $1,611.98. I'm glad I'm above $1,500. I'd love to hit $2,000. Gross average sale price dropped down a little bit. Last week it was like $50, so dropped down a little bit to $46.36. And my net is $34.30. So it's all right. It's okay.
I'm reading in the chat that
Liz, you're wrong. I have amazing taste in cookies.
You are far outnumbered in your making fun of the oatmeal raisin cookies.
Well, I mean,
at least among our old lady
our
friends.
viewership does tend to trend toward the old lady. I'm just saying.
It's true. It's true. Well, because we're old ladies. I know that you have not accepted that fact yet, but you are, in fact, also an old lady. Nope. I hate to tell you.
Nah.
You may look like and act like a 12-year-old boy. However, you are mid-40s. That is an old lady.
Yeah, but I don't like the old lady cookies.
And I'm seeing, I saw Chelsea, Idaho Gem, she's outside of her comfort zone, finally cross-posting on eBay.
All right.
That's good. That's good. You had a couple of sales too, right? I think I saw you post that you had a couple of sales already, and you just got your first postings on eBay. That's awesome. Congrats.
I was just talking to Sarah, my BJF, my best Jew friend, earlier today. She was telling me how outraged she was over how eBay, the whole eBay thing with feedback and everything, and how you were being mistreated. And so she was just, sending out her support and stuff. And we were talking about like needing to be on multiple platforms and stuff. And she doesn't have a lot on eBay. And I was telling her, I'm like, as much as I really, because here's the thing, we always say we love to hate eBay, and eBay is so frustrating.
It's the platform we love to hate.
It still is at least for the two of us, and for most people, if you're eBay sellers first, it still is the platform that brings in the most money. So.
Yeah, I mean, eBay is only 50% of my business now.
But it's still...
3 years ago, it was 100% of my business.
Right, but any one platform, there's no one platform that's even close to your eBay
No,
still.
you're right. 50% of my business overall is what I'm saying. So, anyway, even though it's down year after year after year, it is what it is. Emily said, as of 2/1, I'm on Medicare. Don't even go there with old. I'm sorry, Emily. But you don't act old, all right?
All right, let's look at your number. So hold on a second. Mine was, I think, ooh.
You did beat me.
Oh, you guys. I don't even think it happened last year, because it used to be like a couple times a year I'd beat Vikki. This year, but the problem is I don't want to beat her because she had such a terrible week. I'd like to have such a crazy good week that I beat her. But no, she's got to stoop to my level. I'm not going to be like, haha, I beat you. But, why don't you tell us about your numbers here?
Yeah, I had a shitty week. It is what it is. So, I'm still doing the ending and optimizing of a minimum of 15 to 25 listings every day, 7 days a week for my old listings, optimizing titles, changing pricing, changing title structure, and changing photos out. So it's a whole new listing. And I'm also listing a minimum of 12 brand new listings from scratch every single day. So the fact that I'm still doing that much and my sales are this bad, it's killing me. Anyway,
it's going to jump back. It's going to come back.
All the platforms were garbage this week. I did great in November and December. January was not good for me. It just wasn't. So January, I think I did just under $11,000 total gross across all of my platforms. And I know that many of you say that, what do you mean that's not good? I get that. However, keep in mind, I do have 2 employees. And, and I did just do a really big bulk buy and all of those types of things. So just so you guys know, I mean, everybody's version of success and doing well is relative, right? Everybody's got different bills and different lives.
Well, and when we moved almost 2 years ago, we doubled our
output.
Well, when we moved, we doubled what we were paying for housing.
Yeah, output.
I know, but
bills.
Yes.
Expenses.
And then
doubled our output.
I would say the last like 2-3 months, for whatever reason, and for those of you who are watching who are here in Vegas, you'll know exactly what we're talking about. All the utility bills have like jumped huge. Gas,
40 to
electricity,
50% in the last 6 months.
Everything. And like when we moved here in what was it, 2021, April 2021, we went 2022, whatever. 2022, we went from a big storage unit, not big, but it was like a 10 by 10 or whatever. And we were paying what was I paying? Like $140 a month. And we moved here and and because we got a smaller unit, it went down to like $80 a month. Well, it's gone up multiple times, and I just got the thing saying like now it's back up to like $140. And I'm like, only for like half the space of what we had before. And it's just like, geez, it's like all these things that you don't really have any control over. It's like, I can't be like, I'm going to switch electric companies. It's just crazy. It's just keeps going up and up. So
just in time to coincide with our move, where all of our expenses almost doubled, our sales started to drop.
Yeah.
On eBay, especially.
Yeah.
So, and I know that we're preaching to the choir every time we say this. So we talk about this, how we are working, how we do change the way we do things, how we are trying to mix things up and be super aggressive in pricing and trying to turn over orders. It's all you can do, right? We can only do what we can do. There's only so many things that we can control. And right now, a lot of the failures and problems within the platform on eBay specifically I'm talking about are not things that are within our control.
Yeah.
So
Kat, our house is what, $3,400 a month?
Yeah. $3,400.
Yeah. I mean, luckily half of that is, half of our house is our business. So the dedicated rooms that we use for our business take up about half of the house.
It's a 3,600 square foot house. So it is, it is a really big house. And if it were just the two of us and we were not running businesses out of this,
well, no, we have to.
We say all the time that it's obnoxious, the size of the house for just two people.
It's our business.
But because we're running our businesses out of it, the space is necessary. And when we decided to make this move, Kat, I don't think you were watching us before, but when we decided to make this move a couple of years ago, it was we were busting at the seams and we were looking into warehouse space. So we took the warehouse space budget and the housing budget and kind of combined the two, and we're still paying less than we would if we were using warehouse space and not having to put on pants and leave the house.
Yes, that's the important part.
All of those things. And of course, you write off the square footage. I mean, it is a business write-off, all that kind of stuff. You write off the percentage you use for your business of all the things in the housing. So it is what it is. It does make sense for us to have the house that we have and to be where we are, and we don't want to leave, and it's a beautiful area and a beautiful home. However, it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah. But anyway, we have all the those set expenses that it's like we don't have any choice. And so having a fluctuating income for our businesses can be very frustrating and scary. Anyway.
Okay, so here's my sales for the week. I 26 sales on eBay, 9 on Etsy, 5 on Posh Mark. Posh Mark pretty much died 6 months ago and has not come back, and I don't really know why.
They're all buying for me.
They must be. 2 on Macari, no private sales, for a total of 42 outgoing orders. I'm down to under $2,000 on eBay for the week again, so $1,348 on eBay, $505 on Etsy, which is fine. That's about average. $205 on Poshmark. I don't know. Posh is dead, like I said. Macari is always the straggler. I don't know why I hang on to it, just because it's easiest to...
Because how much time gets put into Macari
Very little, because I pay someone else to do my cross-posting.
How much does it cost you a week?
Like $10 maybe.
So you can make $100. So
so my total for the week, $21.63. Shipping, cost of goods, $101. My cost of goods are always low. So I still netted just under $1,600 for the week. Not good enough. I do prefer for that to be double that. That's where I like $2,500 to $3,000 net per week is my sweet spot. And then my gross average sale price is right where it's supposed to be, between $50 and $60. But overall, meh. Really mediocre, meh week.
Yeah, come on, man. Come on. Allison is out skiing. Look out for that bunny. Look out. She's
Don't hit
the bunny. Good to see you. I can't wait to see you in a couple of months. Anyway, so I mean, yeah, you definitely had a bad week for you. I mean, it's so close to mine, but and for me, mine was like a decent week. I still want to see more come out of it, and we'll get more into that.
So Nurse with the Purse said...
The last part of the show. Was Nurse with the Purse say?
Nurse with the Purse says, in the same boat, living in Denver. Yeah, Denver has a very high cost of living. Paying $4,200 a month, it's less expensive than paying for warehouse space. Yeah,
Yep.
you've got to figure out what works for you and your business and your family. Vegas in general didn't always have this cost of living. I've lived here almost 11 years now, and when I moved here 11 years ago, the cost of living was much lower, and it has steadily increased, especially in the last 3 to 4 years. It has actually almost doubled
Yeah.
than where it used to be. So unfortunately, that's what we're looking at right now.
Yep. Yep. All right, let's go ahead and jump into our sales highlights for the week. Vicky, you had some pretty good sales.
I did. I had a couple of good sales. It was a little bit of a struggle for me to find some. I did sell this vintage dress. Not that it was anything special on the dress. It was just really cute. And I will say that I don't often use the black background, but look at how good that one gallery photo looks with
really
the black
pretty.
background. So I play around with background sometimes. It doesn't always have to be just the stark white. So it didn't sell for a ton. That was really what I wanted to show, is just that it wasn't the brand, it wasn't the style. I really think it was that black background photo, and it sold for just about $50. And this was my sale that ended, I think, on Monday. So this was when I was doing 45% off last week.
Nice. All right, first up for me, this is from our last trip to Denver. This is actually one that our friends, Angie and Lisa, threw my way. Angelisa, as we call them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was real excited about it because look at it, it's just gorgeous all over print Wrangler Western shirt. Now, when I did get it home and I looked at the comps, I'm like, oh, there's actually quite a few of these out there and the comps aren't looking so great. But I went back and forth with somebody a few times and settled on $55. So I did not sell it for the price you see there, but I sold it for about $55. Sorry, $55. I've been getting like really weird offers. I feel like it especially happens on, what is it? I feel like Depop users love to give you like really weird offers, like $49.26. And I'm like, I don't understand, but whatever. Anyway, $55.55. And I paid about $5 for it at one of the ARC stores. So, but I think it's just awesome. Look at that print. It's beautiful.
It is.
All right.
Okay, I don't often pick up books. I am absolutely not a bookseller, but I just wanted to say I do pick up ones that are interesting or vintage. I actually really like to pick up art books. This one didn't have the dust jacket, as you can see.
They're right there. Sorry,
there they
not to
are.
interrupt you.
Here's Angelisa. So I probably paid $1 for this. I did get this at the bins. The hardcover books are $1, and it sat for a little while. But the fact that it sold for over $50 and I paid $1, and it doesn't even look like anything special. Look at, I mean, it's a coffee table type book, but look at
Somebody sneezed on it.
It had a ring on it. It had like, but it sold, and vintage. Just keep an eye out. Even if you're not a bookseller, obviously these are not the type of books that you can scan. You can't scan this and see what the price is and what the ranking is. And, generally speaking, if I find an interesting book, and especially if it's an art book or a vintage book, and I think it looks cool, I'm going to buy it for $1. And I'm rarely wrong. Sometimes I'll take it home and I see that there's a million of them and it's worthless, and then I just redonate it. But for $1, I mean, why not?
Yeah. All right, next up, I have this Dietrich Varese Hawaiian shirt. It's a rain
Oh, you
spooner.
showed that in a haul, too.
I bought a couple of these, and I've sold, this is the second one, so I've sold them both now, but it's just a really cool, interesting, I've been picking up Hawaiian shirts lately, guys. I've been feeling my Hawaiian-ness when it comes to the shirts.
I always pick those up. I always pick up Rain Spooner, too.
Well, yes, I always pick up Rain Spooner if I find it. But, like, when I first started selling clothing, I used to buy, like, Hawaiian shirts and stuff. I didn't really know what I was doing. And I ended up with, a bunch that weren't worth anything. But I feel like I've got a better eye for it now.
The Puritan and
because
Cherokee
ones that would just have, like, a really cool print, but they wouldn't really be worth anything.
Garbage brands.
Which is too bad, because some of them really do have really cool prints. But anyway, I think I'm a little bit better now at, like, identifying, like, obviously Rain Spooner. But even if it didn't say Rain Spooner, I would be like, oh, this looks interesting, and, like, it's an interesting design. And so I sold it for the price you see there, full price, $69.99. I got it at the bin, so I paid a whole fat $1 for it, probably, because it's real light.
Mm-hmm.
But I love it. It's cool.
So Chelsea asked, do you think that the increase of cost of living in Vegas is due to the increase of sports teams coming to town in that market? Yeah, actually, 100%.
I think it's more people coming and taking up housing.
Well, that's part of it, but it's 100% due to the sports teams because a lot of the people that have driven up the housing market are people that don't live in the state and corporations that have come in and purchased up the real estate in order to rent back to people that are coming in because of the sports teams. Yeah. So 100%, I do think that is a huge reason for the increase. Like if you purchased a home here 5 years ago or 10 years ago, good for you because your property values are fantastic. Yeah. But if you are trying to purchase now, or if you tried to purchase in the last couple of years, or if you're trying to rent, especially larger houses, you're kind of screwed. Yeah. That's what has happened here.
One thing that's different though about Vegas than other areas, I'm originally from Oregon, and like I lived in Portland for 10 years, and then like places in California that just don't have the space within the city to build. Vegas is different. Vegas has so much space. There's so many, like, you'll be like right in the middle of the city driving down the street and just go by an enormous field. So there's lots of space for it to build up. So that, I feel like that can change. Whereas there's other places like Portland where it's like within the city, there's like not a whole lot you can do other than build out and spread out more.
There's still plenty of space to build and expand here in this city and in the valley. So you would think that would drive down the cost of living a little bit. But even a couple of years ago, just 2 years ago, frankly, when we were moving, we had a huge spike in the market as far as selling and renting, and there were no rentals, and that made it very difficult. However, construction has surpassed the need, so we're back on the end again where there's a lot of rentals, but people haven't realized that prices actually have come down because of supply and demand. So it's a little weird thing, but we'll see.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the next one for you.
This actually came from a lot of vintage clothing that I purchased from a vintage clothing group. There was a woman that was liquidating. I don't know her. I had purchased, I think, 50 items from her, and they ended up being like, it was like 50 items for like $100 shipped or something like that. And this was one of them. A lot of it was mediocre stuff, which I fully expected because it was sight unseen. But I figured even if there were a couple pieces, it was worth it at that price. That's how I've been doing a lot of by bulk buying lately. So I paid like $2 for this. And it sold for the price you see there, $71. I will say, had this been a little bit larger, it would have absolutely gone for way more money, but it was super tiny, super tiny. A women's extra small is small. So it sold during my 45% off sale for $71. But like I said, I paid like under $2.
Allison, look out for that moose. All right, next one for me. Another Wrangler. This Wrangler shirt.
You showed this one too. I remember this one.
I don't remember. Jen, you're in the chat. Did I get this from you, Jen, or did I get this I might have gotten this in Colorado. I'm starting to get too much stuff now that I don't remember. But I don't think I paid more than $5 for it. And I did not sell it for the price you see there. I sold it for $70.
Michelle says, "Yep, you got it from her."
Okay. Not
Michelle. Sorry, I was reading. No, Michelle had posted right before that. Sorry.
Okay, so this one I got $70 for. So I just bought another. I don't think I got into this very much, but I just did another big bulk buy from Jen of like 130 pieces. And one of the things that's really hard to find when you're trying to do bulk buys from people is to get like a good mixture of stuff, because obviously you're not going to get like a crazy deal where you're going to get $5 a shirt and every single one's going to be a $70 t-shirt. Like, it's just not going to happen. But you need to find somebody who's going to give you a good mixture. You have to have a good mix. And then you have to be willing to take the stuff that's kind of like, maybe I'll get $20 for this, because you're going to have some good pieces like this in there. And so, so far I've been really happy with, I think this is the third big buy I did from you, Jen, this year, in the last few months. And every single one, I feel like there's pieces where I can get excited and make some money. And then there's the ones where I'm like, okay, I just got to make my money back on that one, because I'm willing to take that one, I get the really good stuff too. So
I think Jen needs to start sourcing for me, because she's so good at sourcing for you.
How about you find your own sources, Yash?
I have some.
She doesn't want to source the kind of crap you get.
Rotten. She's
Anyway.
rotten. She's so rotten. So I was reading, I'm reading a couple of things in the chat there about people with like the real estate and stuff like that. Lori, I agree with you. Lori was saying younger people are getting priced out of the area. Now, of course, there is still plenty of states and cities in the Midwest and in the South that still are affordable housing options for many, many people.
Yeah.
I agree very much, though, that on either coast or in bigger cities, it is becoming nearly impossible for younger people to have to realize the dream of home ownership. And that's it's very sad. It's very disheartening. I know my daughter, who is going to be 31 next month, does not feel like she will ever be able to own a home. And you know, but she lives in the she lives in the Bay Area. So, you know, it's tough. They all live with roommates in their 30s. It's tough. So,
we always say anything rodeo sells, whether it's vintage or not. Now, if it's not vintage, I wouldn't pay up too much for it. If it's only, because you're saying that they're like within the last 5 to 7 years new with tags. So for that stuff, I wouldn't pay more than a couple bucks for.
but I'd still pick it up.
But you could still sell it. Pretty much anything rodeo with good graphics is going to sell. So, all right, next up for you.
Now this is the thing where you talk about, okay, list the crap from your death pile, right? We all have a handful of pieces or more that have been sitting for a long time that get pushed under whatever, and we're like, I'll get to it. These actually, I have had these since March of 2020. March of 2020, I had reached out when everything went into shutdown. Katie and I never had death piles. We used to talk about that. When we all went into we still really don't. When we went into death pile, when we went into shutdown, Vegas was shut down much longer than a lot of other cities. We couldn't source. So I had put out through our channel, I think, like, anybody have anything that they're trying to get rid of? Everybody doing their clean outs, all that stuff. You've got your death pile. I'll buy your shit so I can sell it. So one of the people that came through, and several of you guys did, but one of the people that came through was our friend Nanette Zupan. And what she did was she sent me a big box of ephemera that I purchased from her. And this is one of them. It sat there. I sorted them. They're postcards. I just sorted them by state. But I did not list them individually. I was never intending to list them individually, but they were an easy thing. Did I list them? No. I don't know why I didn't frickin' list them.
Could you have sold them individually, or how much could
you
sell
I mean,
them?
individually, people that sell postcards in general, they're pretty, common, this type of postcard. They're still vintage, but they're pretty common. Some of them can sell for quite a bit, depending on the area.
Or maybe you just sold
or
by
the
state.
item. Be sold by state. You know, usually you can get, if you did by state, I probably could have gotten $10 to $15 a lot by state. That was not worth it to me.
Yeah.
So I literally sold these about 8 hours after I listed them because I knew I would get a good price for them.
Right.
And that was that's it. They sold for $80, good feedback, customers thrilled.
That was really disrespectful to Nanette for you not to list those for so long.
I know. I'm sorry, Nanette, if you happen to watch, although
Nanette,
I
I
watches our channel.
apologize for Victoria's abhorrent behavior.
It's terrible.
I don't know. I'm disgusted personally. So.
Yes, and I agree with Michelle. I used to sell a lot more ephemera. I do not sell ephemera anymore unless I find it, and I'm going to sell anything sellable. But I used to sell a lot of ephemera when I lived on the East Coast. Postcards were a thing. I would buy lots of postcards to list them individually, and I would scan them. This was back when we used scanners more, and they would sell for more money. But it was not worth the time and energy for me to do that this time. And I don't own a scanner anymore. I wasn't going to do that. But
it's called a camera. All right.
It's different. Scanners are to get the edges. They want to see the bumped corners. They want to see the quality of the photos and the postcards.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
all right.
Bulk lot, just a sign, list your shit.
Look what I sold.
Ooh.
This is a Jimmy Z shirt that I got at the bins. Now,
I was looking to see what it actually sold for.
Well, why don't you wait, nosy Nelly?
I am nosy
And
Nelly.
why are you drinking all my soda? God darn it. You made me get you Pepsi. Guys.
This is old.
No, I heard you open it this morning.
Rude.
I heard the of her opening the can, and then like a minute later, I heard a very loud belch, a very loud, unladylike belch.
You're full of it.
No, it's true. But guys, she makes me buy her gross Diet Pepsi, and then she's drinking my generic Coke Zero from Kroger's. And I tried to tell her last night, I'm like, that's Kroger. She's like, I know, I want it. Have you decided it tastes better?
I like it better.
Do you like it better?
Not better than Pepsi, but
Then, okay, seriously, guys, this is enraging. I literally said to her, there was Pepsi right there. I got you Pepsi. And she's like, I want this. It was before she even opened it. But she still says she likes Pepsi better. Why the F?
Because sometimes you want to shake things up, all right?
No, sometimes you want to drive me insane. Jeez.
She's so rude.
It's almost as bad as when she opens my Spindrift, takes one sip, and puts it back in the fridge. So rude. Anyway, this Jimmy Z, it was a little discolored, especially you could see around the collar. Even though I washed it, I bleached it, it didn't make a whole lot of difference. But it doesn't matter because it's freaking Jimmy Z, man, and I sold it not for that price, but I did sell it for $75 within just a couple of days of listing it, and I got it at the bin, so I paid $1. So yeah, I'm gonna take that 75. There you go.
Crystal is fashionably late.
Jennifer, I can share. The problem is I literally bought her the kind that she is telling you guys right now that she prefers, and she still is drinking mine. And she will not go to the grocery store to replace it. I will have to go to the grocery store to replace it. It is outrageous.
She's so rude to me. So rude.
Ridiculous. Anyway, so yeah, don't ever pass up a good Jimmy Z or Jimmy's. I always called it Jimmy Z, even though I guess it's Jimmy's, but whatever. Okay, next up for you, biatch.
Okay, so these are bins by. Now, the one thing that is not going to be able to be articulated by the photos is just how cool these shoes are. They had these lucite beads. They reminded me so much of like Carmen Miranda or something. Vintage 60s. They're tiny, size 7, but a tiny size 7. They're so... The little lucite flowers on them, they're like this lime green yellow type of shoe. You can see there's damage, but I don't care about the damage because they're going to look so good on someone. I wish my fat foot would have fit in there, but I have bigger feet.
Fat foot fit.
Anyway, they were just such cool shoes and a sturdy heel. They were in great shape. Yeah, there's some wear on the insole and a couple of scratches on the heels, but in general, very good shape for, 60-year-old vintage leather shoes. Mm-hmm. They're just so cool. I was glad that they sold. They sold for the price that you see there, $97. I listed them very high. Amalfi, Rangoni, that brand I always pick up. However, that still was a high price for me to get for them. They were just very cool.
Allison, you're right. I just need to like roll with the punches.
Allison, didn't you say you wanted to stay here in a couple months? I'll get the backyard ready for you. You can put a tent.
She'd probably be okay with that.
She probably would.
All right, next up, check this out. We were just talking about the whole granny core movement when we did our haul video earlier. But look what I sold this week, Victoria.
That's some ugly granny core.
And this actually went, let me see, yeah, this one actually went to Canada, so they even paid extra for the shipping.
Canada, eh?
Canada, eh?
I kind of like your feedback underneath this, by the way.
That's a different one. Quit pointing it out. Be quiet.
Good shit, bro.
No, shut your mouth. I was literally gonna talk about that in my next one, so be quiet. Anyway, it's just a ridiculous, lacy. I got this at the bins. It's very light, so maybe I paid $2 for it. Vintage sweatshirt. I don't know.
It's
abomination.
It is an abomination.
But I sold it for $44.09 plus $15.50 shipping to Canada. So pretty good deal.
All right. So sometimes you end up taking a return on something that you've sold before. So this is where I'm going to talk about this. I actually sold this before, and I showed this in both a haul video and then in a sold video because it reminds me of something Michelle would wear, and I remember saying that last time. Michelle's in the chat. So I ended up grabbing this at the bins. I probably paid $4 or $5 for it. It is a little bit heavy. It's big. It looks like one of those camo coats.
This is what Elton John wears when he goes hunting.
Yeah.
It's the Elton John
ghillie
suit.
Ghillie suit, yes. So anyway, I had originally sold this for $100. And the person returned it and said it was too big, even though it says one size. But whatever, I accept returns. It came back, relisted it, and then it sold the second time for $150. So while none of us like returns, I'm actually going to be showing 2 items this week that were returned and then resold fairly quickly and sold for more money. So here we go. I love this ugly ass coat that's a million colors. I mean, it's Joseph's amazing Technicolor dream coat for women. But anyway,
Yeah, maybe that's what it looked like after they pulled Joseph out of the pit.
might have been.
All right, now my feedback belongs to this purchase. Victoria tried to steal my thunder. This University of Akron sweatshirt. I sold it. It was worn and faded. Had some discoloration, all of which was disclosed in the description. They got it, and their feedback to me was, good shit, brah. Much appreciated. But they gave me 4 stars. And I'm like, I guess it wasn't the best shit. It was just good shit. And I'm like, brah, why? Why would you do this to me? They give me a 4 on item quality and a 4 on shipping.
You could get that removed because it has an expletive in it.
That's true. But like, how 4 on item quality, 4 on shipping? I ship everything next day. I'm like, I don't know what more could I do for you, dude, for you, brah. So just so rude. No, I mean, I appreciate like it, but it's like, why 4? What do you actually like? What are you scoring me on here?
Why, bruh?
Why, brah? Why? Anyway, that's all.
Okay, so this is nothing special. I mean, it is because it's Hermes. However, I purchased this from yesterday's fits, and I had it for quite a long time. Like
listed for a long time?
Listed for quite a while.
Why are you talking like that? What's wrong with you?
I had it listed for probably 2 or 3 years. And it was one of those things, for some reason, I had never ended and relisted. So this is where I was talking about this. Yes, it has the rolled edges. Yes, it has the tag. Yes, it's all that stuff. It is authentic. Now, I paid about $40 for this from Jessie because Jessie was not 100% sure if it was authentic. And neither was I until I took it home and went through all the steps. But it sat for quite a while. So I had ended it and relisted it like within this last week, and someone offered me $200 for it, and I was like, yes, I'm going to take $200 because I've been sitting on it for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And it's not a fantastic print. Not all Hermes is worth $1 bazillion, right? So, $200 is fine.
Yeah. All right, next up for me, I don't remember if I got this in Colorado.
Oh my God, that's cute.
Or where I got it.
Trash pandas.
But it's a real cute little Trash Panda t-shirt. Even with all this like fade marks and stuff on it. And of course, now if I was listing this now, I probably would list this at $48.99. But so I'm happy to sell it for my $62.99 on the old Etsy. But at most I paid $5 for it, but I probably didn't even pay that. And it's got the cutest little raccoonies on it. Look at them.
Little
Look at them.
raccoonies.
I'm going to hold their little hands. They're so cute.
All right, so as I always say, you want to pick up Juicy Couture, vintage Juicy Couture. Yes, I realize that they're selling Juicy again. I realize that they've revamped this brand and they're selling it at Kohl's. However, the older stuff, pre-Kohl's, the late 90s, early Y2K, this is what you want to pick up. Mm-hmm. The glitzier, the better. If
Made
it's
in the glamorous USA.
If it's the velour stuff, even better.
The allure of velour.
The allure of velour. So
Yeah.
this one sold for $80. This was a bins pickup.
What?
It sold for $80 plus like $25 shipping to France. So, oui. I mean, really, you can't.
Ridiculous.
I mean, the stuff's so ugly. I hated it when it first came out. I certainly am not wearing it now, but I will take $80. This was absolutely a bins buy, so I probably paid $1.50 to $2 for it.
Let's talk about bringing stuff back. Billabong, gong, 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 billabong. I got this. This is not vintage. It's from within the last 10 years probably. But I picked this up at the bins. You can see it's got a little bleach mark on it, but it's cool, nice, big, cool design. And I'm just going with my whole thing of all these brands are going to come back and be more popular again. So I picked it up because it was going to cost me like $3 maybe at the bins. And what do you know? It was not listed more than a couple of weeks, and I sold it for $40. Guys,
I never pick up Billabong, and I see it everywhere.
I wouldn't pick up anything. It's just this had like a really cool big back hit. And then I saw the spot and I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have gotten this. And then I sold it for $40. Pew, 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 pew. So you're welcome.
All right. This is another one. This had already sold on Etsy. I know I showed it as a sold at some point a few months ago. This sold on Etsy. It sold on Etsy when it was on sale, so it had originally sold for $90. Buyer, I don't even accept returns on Etsy, but the buyer had returned it because they said it didn't match the description. They said that it was smaller than stated. I got it back, which I normally would not accept returns on Etsy, but because they said that, and this had been listed by a previous person that is no longer working for me, who wasn't all that great with measurements, I was like, I don't know. It could be that the measurements are off, right? So I didn't dispute it. I let them return it and gave them a refund, and they were happy to send it back. I got it back, double checked. Yeah, the measurements are fine. The measurements were correct.
Yes, son of a bitch.
I relisted it, and then it actually just sold the other day, and it sold for $129.95. So I actually sold it for $40 more the second time.
You need to be listening to our chat because one of Angel's favorite brands to sell apparently is Billabong.
Well, apparently,
and Tommy says every Billabong I've picked up is sold. So you are a loser.
Holy crap! I need to start picking it up because they sell it at like Walmart or something. So I hadn't picked it up. It's always at the bins, always.
Yeah, but you just gotta look for the cool stuff, man.
Apparently, I gotta pick that crap up now.
Yep.
Damn it.
All right. There's nothing like overly crazy about this particular item. I think I got this from. I'm pretty sure I got this from yesterday's fits. Could have gotten it from Jen, but it's Western Washington University. So I think I paid like $5 for it. But I just want to show it because, like I said, Depop. I had 3 sales. My last 4 sales on Depop now have been boosted listings. I will happily sell every single thing I have on Depop at a boosted price. I don't care. If it's going to sell my stuff, I will take it. I just want money. Just give me the money. Give it to me.
F you
give
pay
it
me.
to me.
F you pay me.
F you pay me. Come on.
Hey, hi Cheryl. Cheryl's in the chat. Hey, I just wanted to say, guys, I know we've got like 118 people watching our show and like 2 thumbs up on the show. I realize that we are a baby YouTube channel, but if you could please press the thumbs up if you're enjoying the show, if you're watching the show, even if you don't enjoy it but you like us, just press the thumbs up so we can get a few more views.
Gently stroke it.
Gently caress it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Jamie says, I just had an eBay buyer apologize for not getting back to me sooner. She couldn't get eBay to open all day. She said other websites open fine. eBay, I love you, but I don't like you right now. That's pretty much how I feel about eBay every flippin' day.
That's pretty much how I felt about them for a while. I do have to say, this is the slowest weekend I've probably had on eBay in at least 10 years. I think I have sold 7 items since Friday morning on eBay. And for under $400 when my weekends are usually $1,200 to $1,500 over 3 days. Whatever. It's not like everybody is just suddenly not shopping this weekend. I don't know.
All right, tell us about this. What you got?
All right, so this was an older shirt. This actually was the only good sale I had on Posh Mark this week. I believe I picked this up from yesterday's fits a long time ago. So I couldn't tell you how long ago I got it, but I'm sure I paid somewhere in the neighborhood of $10 for it because I'm cheap. I don't pay any more than that, and it sold for $97. But is it something I would have picked up again or priced that high? Picked up again, yes. Priced that high, probably not.
Yeah.
So there you
go. Very good. Emily, I think all the surf brands are doing pretty well lately. Like, not crazy numbers, but
I sell every Santa Cruz thing.
Yeah, Santa Cruz is good for like a decent, like smaller flip.
$25-$30.
Ocean Pacific, Billabong. I just sold that big head fish T-shirt that I gotten like recently. I don't know, just anything like that stuff is always going to be like a good flip. If you can get it cheap, you're usually going to be able to get $30-$40 for. What are you saying, Tommy? I don't know.
Did Katie list my thing? No.
What title? What are you talking about? What are you saying? Anyway, okay.
That's a Crystal listing because she spells gray with an E.
Oh, she fancy like that. Mm-hmm. Her and Makari. Okay, Posh Mark. I just wanted to show this. Nothing fancy, but speaking of like surfing stuff and anything like that, I sell crop tops like nobody's business. And this might be another one. Okay, I'm just going to keep asking in the chat. Jen, did you sell me this? or either that or Vicky gave it to me maybe.
I think I might have given you that one. Actually, that one.
Yeah, I think I did get one from Jen, but the one I got from Jen I think was blue. Anyway,
See, she said no.
yeah, I think I got like a blue one from her. But this one is one that's actually like cut off on the bottom because you can see how it's like curling up. Somebody just cut it off, and but I sell these so fast. I've sold so many crop T-shirts over the last
Girls like
year
vintage
or two.
boxy tees, but they cut
But
them
they want
short.
they want their midriffs showing. So it's definitely like highly sought after. So I don't know if you have a boring shirt with an interesting graphic on it enough anyway, just cut it off. See if that helps. I don't know.
Crystal, no, gray is not wrong.
No.
E or A are acceptable.
They're
The
both.
more common American way is to spell it with an A, but both are acceptable.
Yeah. Mercari uses the E. I think.
It really does depend on where you're from and who you are, how you spell it. I spell it with an A, but gray is how you spell it.
Yeah, that's why I say
a lot
you're
of different
fancy.
places. So either one is acceptable. When you do the drop downs on eBay, it's going to be spelled with an A.
Yeah. Another thing about like cutting off your own shirts, that's one of the things I'll do sometimes. Like if I have, I've had really good luck with selling surfer sweatshirts, is what I call them, the short sleeve sweatshirts. Mm-hmm. There's been times where it's in great condition, but maybe it has like a big stain or a big flaw in like one sleeve. And I'll just cut the sleeves off and sell it as a surfer sweatshirt.
And roll it as a cuff a little?
I don't roll it at all. Nope, just cut it off and sell it as a surfer sweatshirt because I think that has way more value than a regular sweatshirt with a big ugly stain on one sleeve. So
that's true.
It's just something to think about. All right, let's go ahead and get to the last part of the show. Woo.
How many listings did you get done this week?
Well, I'm continuing to do 10 new listings every single day. I have not missed a single day since December 12th. And I was talking about needing to rework old listings, so I've been doing 20 every single day. So every day I get my 10 new ones live. I get 20 that I end, and then I change out the main photo. I rework the title, and then almost every single one I'm dropping the price significantly because I'm like, I didn't sell it the first time around. At this point I just want to get it out of here, and I have sold several of those items.
Me too.
Yeah, they sell for cheap, but you know what? I'm just glad to see it out the door. So I've been doing that, and then anything I list over that just goes into my draft bank. I think I'm at like 80 items in my draft bank at the moment.
I don't have anything in my draft bank. I do not use the draft bank. I probably should, and I will use it when we're coming up on vacation. That's how I'm going to use it better. I'm going to do my 12, and then anything over the 12 I'll end up putting in the draft bank, and then I'll go in the day before we leave and schedule those. That's how I'm going to work it for me.
Yeah. I actually love having the draft bank because, I listed my items that I had on Friday. Yesterday, I just worked on processing all the stuff I got from Jen and doing some of my photography, but I still had those 10 listings out of the draft bank. And then today, I did some more photography, and then we're quitting early to go hang out with friends, but I still had my 10 listings to go. And then tomorrow, it's like I don't feel this urgency that, I gotta get back to listing. For me, it feels so much better because before, it's like it was frustrating to have to, for a couple of days, focus on photography and this and that and not getting any listings done. Mm-hmm. And now it's like it makes me so I can relax a little bit, and I'm not worried about that because I know no matter what, I've got those 10 listings happening every single day.
Yeah, we haven't gone anywhere, so I haven't had a problem with missing, that my 12 listings every day. I
knowing that they're there.
But I'm still not in the habit of putting in the draft bank because I'm still in the habit of hitting live. But I do like the option, and I do like and will continue to use that for when we go on vacation or we go away for a weekend, or if there's a Saturday that I know I'm not going to work or not going to want to work. Usually we don't work on Saturday. So I had been doing it so that I would schedule everything on Friday to go live on the Saturday. But I haven't missed, since the last week of November, I haven't missed any day of doing a minimum of 12 listings a day. I think my total number of listings that I did this week was about 160 or 140 something brand new from scratch. That's not the reworked listings. That's the new items being listed. And then I cross-post them, I have someone cross-post them for me. And I have my new lister that has started, and actually she did her first full batch of 75 items that I get back from her tomorrow, and crossing fingers, but so far so good. She's super attentive to detail, which I love. She's a bit of an overthinker, which has made the process a little slower for her, but that's not a bad thing. It just means that she wants to do well, and I appreciate that fact. Most people don't have that much invested in doing something for someone else. So I get everything back tomorrow. So far, her photos are good. And honestly, that's 90% of the battle for me. If she can do the photos and the item specifics with the measurements, titles are not great. She's not a clothing person, but that's okay. I don't expect titles to be perfect. I can rework a title in seconds. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
So far for me, that's good. So my goal is to get her a minimum of 75 items, not minimum, just 75. 75 items a week, every single week, and those will be clothing. And then I will do the rest myself. And, I do mostly the hard goods, the linens, the shoes, the purses, all that kind of stuff. And I'm down to having, I'm finally going to tap into my vintage dolls and doll clothes that I've literally had sitting for 4 or 5 years because I have listed everything else. I am fully caught up. I think I have a pile of about 15 items to the right of Katy right now that are photographed that need to be listed. I have literally gone through all of the excuse items, all of the things that I've been sitting on. It's not super exciting. Meh. Sold another one. Within 20 minutes of listing it today, I sold an item for $50 that I've had sitting for 2 freaking years.
I really want to get eventually to where I always have 150 items in my draft bank, so that I just have a 15-day supply basically. And that it's nice just because, if I ever have a time where I'm I just want to get out of here, or I have nothing, I haven't sourced anything, I hadn't had any bulk buys, I need to go to the bins for the next 4 days in a row, whatever, and then I have to process all of that and photo. I could feasibly end up having to not actually list for 5 days because I got to figure out what else I'm doing to bring in the stuff, and it won't bother me or it won't be an issue. So I like it. Plus I'm also kind of I need to bump it up probably to 12 listings a day or something like that. I'm going to do that as soon as I get to where I'm shipping out as much as I'm listing. Then I think I'm going to bump it up a little bit, but having that cushion makes me feel better, because it's I don't know always, Jen's not every time I need 150 things to list isn't necessarily going to have that for me.
So Tommy made a comment in there. He's I don't get that, Katy, you've been so consistent, but your sales aren't supporting all that hard work yet. I don't disagree with that. I will say that I do think part of it is because Katy's so niched down in her market. And right now,
my eBay's up 30% right now.
Yeah, it is.
It's actually...
It's up for you. I'm also just saying that depending on what your niche is, if your niche happens to be vintage or vintage men's, or mine's vintage, mostly vintage women's, I think when you niche down too far, sometimes you're not getting as much of a variety of buyers, right? So that's why, you have to have a larger inventory, because you're not bringing in buyers from every single category. Now, I do sell a lot of different stuff. So, I will say for me, having a mixture is what has saved me over the years. Because if I sold only women's vintage clothing and just that category, that's not enough. Even with 4,700 listings, that's what I have, 4,700 listings. Now, like you were saying, I want to be able to sell as much as I'm listing. That's not really happening. However, because of the way that I've been doing this last couple of months, I've been at 4,700 listings. I think I might be at 4,710 or something today. I've been at or around 4,700 listings for the past 3 months. So even though I'm listing things are selling. I'm not seeing an overall huge increase, but there's a little bit of an increase from year over year for me so far. And I've really only been doing this a couple of months. So...
Well, and we'll Tommy was directing that specifically at me, and I just want to say... I think it's hard to see from week to week, but my eBay alone, like I said, is up 30%. It's consistently been up for the last month and a half. And right now, at the beginning of February, I'm, like I said, 30% up over what I was the previous 30 days. So it actually, we talked about this a little bit last week. Sometimes you have to really step back and look at the bigger picture to be able to see that not only is my 30 days up, but my 90 days is up significantly. It's up to the highest number it's been. And it's higher than it was ever at all, any time the entirety of last year. So, and then my other platforms, I didn't even have Posh Mark or Depop last year. and my other platforms are seeing increases as well. So I think it's slow but steady. I think in the climate right now, in the market right now,
To maintain or see a small increase
it takes a lot of work. And so
big.
while I've been consistently doing this with my listings for over 2 months now, it's like I have to stay steady at it and just keep pushing through, because I am going to see those results, and I already am. It's kind of hard to see it when you're up too close to it. So
My sales were so far down on eBay overall last year that from the previous year or the year before that or the year before that, I am, even though my sales are way down this month from last month, my sales are still up on eBay year over year for this month. So I actually don't know if there's a limit in the draft bank. There may not be a limit for the number of listings,
I think
but
it's
there is
pretty high.
But there is definitely a limit for how long they last. I think it's 90 days. So don't hold me to that. But I think they don't last longer than 90 days. So you want to always be listing to your draft bank, but also be listing from your oldest listings within that bank.
It depends, because I actually don't use my drafts for my draft bank. Mine are all scheduled, and your schedule, I think you can go out like 3 weeks or something like that. But similar to what Vicky's saying, what I do is I schedule my stuff to the furthest ahead you can go, which I think is to like a few weeks. I schedule it to the last possible day. And then when I'm listing from that scheduled bank, I actually do sell similar off of the oldest one, like the oldest 10, sell similar, and then delete those and list those ones.
That's complicated. You're
I know
making it more complicated than is necessary to explain to other people.
Let me explain it to them, because if you don't like to do it that way, that's fine. I was told this by Alexis, and for me, the second she said it, it clicked in my head, and it's like, that makes sense. So I want to pass on to other people if they want to do it that way. So that's just how I do it. And it works for me, because when you list it, first of all, draft banks, you hear about stuff disappearing sometimes. You don't ever hear about that with scheduled listings, where it just disappears out of freaking nowhere. But those are like 75 days, I believe, in the draft banks. But with scheduled listings, when you list it, that's when the algorithm picks it up as being a new listing. So if you don't actually make it live for 3 weeks, then it's like a 3-week-old listing. So that's why I do the sell similar, and then it's a brand new listing. That's all.
Oh my goodness, that's a lot.
There might be one person out there who that clicks for them and it makes sense for them, and I want them to get that from me. Everybody else, suck it.
Why are you so defensive?
Because you shut me down, and you're like, I can't explain it to them. You did it the last time I tried to talk about it. And I want that one person out there who's going to hear me to get it. See? There you go. See, maybe Jennifer just got it. She's like, oh, yeah. Oh.
All right.
All right. I have a challenge for you for a goal for next week.
For me?
Mm-hmm.
I thought you had a challenge for
No,
them.
it could be for both of us. Well, they can join in too.
Okay, what's the challenge?
We have to each read a book this next week.
Okay.
You don't seem very excited about it.
No, that's fine. I love to read.
Vicky loves to read. And then the other night it was like 5:30, and she was like watching TV, and she's like, ugh, I'm already bored. And this was Friday night, and we had plans. She had plans like all day yesterday. We have plans today. We have a lot of stuff going on over these next couple weeks in February. But 5:30, so I wasn't going to be like, let's go do something. I was like, no, we're going to chill out here because we got a lot of stuff coming up. And so anyway, she was like, ugh, I'm so bored. And I'm like, well, why don't you read a book? It's been a while. And so then we were both like looking, and we were going to like download books and stuff. And I'm like, hey, we'll catch up on these last 2 shows, and then we'll go upstairs and read. And then we got to the end of the last 2 shows, and she's like, I just want to watch more TV.
I didn't want to read.
So I'm putting it in as a challenge.
Lorna, I'm so not a reader. Shut up. You read more than anybody I know. I used to read almost as much as Lorna. I used to have a minimum of 2 to 3 books going at any given time, and I would read every single day, and I would read 4 or 5 books a week. I just, for whatever reason, had stopped reading as much as I used to. Like, I had my Kindle Unlimited, and then I would also have actual physical books. And I don't know what it is. I know exactly where it started, is like getting a tablet that I would have and take to bed at night. I wasn't reading on it. I would be like scrolling the Facebooks and the interwebs and looking at like stupid freaking TikTok or Instagram or whatever and watching TV instead of just sitting in bed with a book every night to wind down. And that's what I used to do all the time. I need to get back to reading.
So I know. So now that I've put it out there, guys, we're going to report back next week. The 5 of you who come and watch us on Super Bowl Sunday, we're going to report back, and you will have read a book. Yes. Do you agree?
I agree.
No nodding heads.
Yes, I will read. I will read at least a book.
Okay.
If we're going
we're making one goal.
Okay.
Don't get crazy. Don't be like you were with the listings where you're like, I'm going to list 175 new listings, and then I'm going to have another 426. No.
I don't, Sandy, I can appreciate other people that like audiobooks. I don't care for audiobooks. I do not absorb the information in the same way. I love to read. I read every time I fly. I used to read all the time in general, but I definitely enjoy reading an actual book or a Kindle, just reading, not listening to a book. Audiobooks just don't cut it for me.
Tara had a coyote on her porch.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, I don't want to do the suggesting books to each other, Allison, because I have a whole list. I made a whole list of books I want to read. Right now I'm reading a book called The Troop, which I don't know, Vicky, you might like it. It's a horror book, but it feels very Stephen King. It's very disturbing, though.
Yeah, well, Stephen King is my favorite author of all time, as he is for many, many people. I own every Stephen King book made. I think that I missed the last 2 or 3, so I'm going to have to go through, because I haven't physically been in a bookstore in a long time. So I have to go through the list and make sure that I have them, so that and buy them if I don't. So,
yeah. Anyway, so I mean, I don't think, and this is one of the things that I know both in Tech and Sports group and also in Ryan and Chaz's group around like setting goals and having like challenges and stuff. Both of those groups are kind of doing very similar things where it's not just about business goals, but also incorporating things like drinking water and movement and reading. And and I saw Lori said, who has time when sales are down, but it's like you always have time. I mean, even if you just get into bed and you've got like 20 minutes before you fall asleep, like you do have time. You just have to like decide you're going to do that, which is why I'm challenging Vicky on the show, just because I know she loves to read. It's just kind of getting back into that habit.
I have to get back into the habit. I used to have 3 bookshelves full of books. I prefer a physical book to a Kindle book, at least when it comes to certain authors that I collect. Emily, like you, Stephen King, Dean Koontz, the old Anne Rice books. I collect those, and I actually have a lot of first editions because I've bought them as first editions. I'm old, right? So I've read a lot of these books. And, I just need to get back into doing that. I don't care about buying them used if it's not one of those authors. I'm not going to keep it. I'll regift it or whatever at that point. But I just need to get back into reading again. And I've read I've read every Stephen King book, but I've also read many of them several times. So I have thought about going back and reading a few that I haven't read in many years. And we'll see how that goes. So.
Yeah. Well, I've got a whole list of books that I want to read now. I made a list. I went and looked on Reddit and looked at a bunch of people will say like, oh, what's the scariest book you've ever read? Or like the most disturbing, because I like horror. I like thrillers.
I love courtroom dramas. I love thrillers. You like
more like mystery stuff. And
I like mysteries and courtroom dramas and thrillers, but I also love horror. So I do not like most chick lit. I will read it. There are some that are really good, like Jennifer Warner. There's a couple of chick lit authors that I like.
I was like, what the heck is chick lit? I had to think about it for a second.
It's like think.
No, I know
Danielle
what it is. I understand.
Steele, but
I understand.
It doesn't have to be like bodice rippers romance novels, because those are garbage in my opinion, and that's fine if you love that. It's not my jam, but I never really liked those. But I used to read like all those kinds of books. So. And again, chick lit is fun. That's an easy read. I like an easy read. Sometimes you don't want to dig so deep, but I read a lot of like drama and thriller books and courtroom dramas, like Brad Metzger and stuff like that. I like a lot of those type of books too. So.
All right, people in the chat, people in the comments, if you're watching this after the fact, tell us, are you going to join us on reading a book? Maybe you don't have to read a whole book this week, but at least like making an effort to do some reading this week.
Yeah, Janet Ivanovich. I read all of those books. I've read all of the, Patricia Cornwell and John Grisham and all of the all of the popular authors, like pop culture authors, I should say. So
Tara says, when I haven't read in a while, I get back into reading by reading a candy bar book. Something sweet and easy, like Outlander or Suck It Stackhouse. Suck it! Suck it! Anyway.
Yeah, Katy listens to a lot of podcasts. I can't do, Lori says Sue Grafton. Yep, those are the alphabet books. I've read all those too. You know, like I said, I used to read a minimum of like 5 or 6 books a week. Like Lorna. Lorna reads an awful lot. I got away from that a few years ago, and I'd like to get back to it. I don't necessarily have to read as many books, but I definitely would like to get back to doing 2 or 3. I read fast, so, you know.
What's a slasher horror movie in book form like? I mean, they're very descriptive.
Yeah, I mean, Dean Koontz would be slash a horror movie in a book form. He's a little bit more graphic and horror related than most of Stephen King. Stephen King, good Stephen King, old Stephen King, the really good ones. I mean, all of his books are good, but some of them are really good. And the best ones are the ones where they're really, really dark and disturbed.
Yep.
I feel like I was just saying this the other day, a lot of his books are written to the mainstream and not to be super disturbing, but then there's a few of them that you read and you're like, holy crap, that was dark.
Well, I know somebody mentioned Pet Sematary. I know when he wrote that originally, he and his wife were so disturbed and disgusted by it, he locked it away in a drawer and didn't publish it. And then he had to fulfill whatever obligation to whatever publishing company he was with at the time when he did put it out. And it was literally just to give him a book to publish. He really felt like it was too horrifying because I think
some of his books,
because the child, yeah.
Some of his books are super disturbing. Apt People, we were just talking about that with Lori the other day. Some of his books are really disturbing, and I truly think that he is the master of horror in general. But his mind has got to be a really dark place because some of his stuff he comes up with is so crazy disturbing. Anyway.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up because we are going to go hang out with our friends. We're excited to see our friends. Vicky's sick of me. She's ready to see other people.
I'm so sick of you. Oh, my God.
Anyway, guys, we appreciate you, and we will see you next week. All 5 of you, they're going to come hang out with us for Super Bowl Sunday. Maybe we'll have some Super Bowl beer and snacks.
Maybe we'll have snacks
and whatnot. So come and bring a beverage and come and hang out with us, and maybe we'll have some pretzels, some chip and dip. That's probably not good for on the microphone. And I think they understand what I mean without you demonstrating it. Belchy McBelcher, you did belch this morning. I heard you.
I don't remember that.
Drinking my soda.
Whatever.
Force me to buy Pepsi when you're just going to drink my soda. Anyway, we will see you guys later and be on the lookout for that haul video that will come out probably sometime.
Hit the thumbs up if you like the show. 2 thumbs up, 120
I doubt
people
it's 2
watching.
thumbs up. I think there's probably a lot more than that. It just hasn't caught up, old lady. Come on,
All
Grandma.
right.
Go get your oatmeal and raisin cookie and shut
Woohoo,
up.
I'm on my way. Early bird special.
All right, guys. It's 2 bits. 2 bits. All right. See you later.
Bye.